Man, you got a lot of work ahead of you.
Shut up.
Pull that couch out so I got a place to sit. That's what I'm looking for. Ooh, baseball cards?
For years, Jarrod Schulz was seen as a devoted partner and hands-on father. The family man of storage wars who built a business, raised kids, and chased the American dream on national television. But that image didn't tell the whole story. Behind the confident smiles and playful bidding wars was a side of Jarrod fans never saw, including a troubling past marked by legal trouble, violence, and behavior that would later explode into public view. How did the man viewers trusted end up at the center of serious allegations? What details from his past were hidden from the cameras? And where is Jarrod Schulz now, after everything came to light? Jarrod's troubled past. Jarrod Schulz was born in Long Beach, California. Right from the beginning, he was a curious and adventurous child who loved to explore how things worked. But Jarrod did not have a stable family environment growing up. The instability of his early years set him on a dangerous path that nearly derailed his life before it truly began. He dropped out of high school and started hanging out with the wrong crowd. What began as teenage rebellion escalated into something far more serious. He got involved in drugs and crime, making choices that would haunt him for years. In 1997, Jarrod Schulz was arrested for felony possession of a controlled substance, a charge that carried serious consequences. He reportedly went to state prison for 16 months on narcotics trafficking charges that dated back to the mid-1990s. Spending over a year behind bars proved to be a turning point in Jarrod's life, rather than the end of it. He realized that he had wasted his potential and opportunities and decided to change his ways. Unlike many who cycle through the criminal justice system repeatedly, Jarrod used his incarceration as motivation to transform himself completely. Upon release, he enrolled in a substance abuse program and got clean from drugs. This decision required immense willpower and commitment, as addiction doesn't release its grip easily. Jarrod had to rebuild his life from nothing, without a high school diploma, with a felony record, and without the support systems that many people take for granted. Fortunately for him, he got a job and started working as the manager of the sales office at a carpet cleaning company in Tustin, California, proving that he was serious about staying clean and building a legitimate career. It was at this carpet cleaning company in 1999 that Jarrod met Brandy Passante, the woman who became his partner in both life and business for the next 2 decades. The meeting seemed like fate. Brandy, who was working at the same company, saw something in Jarrod beyond his troubled past. Their connection was immediate and powerful, built on genuine chemistry and shared ambition. Together, they began to envision a future that went far beyond carpet cleaning. In the early 2000s, Jarrod ventured into the mortgage business, attempting to build wealth during the housing boom that defined that era. For a while, things looked promising, but the economic recession hit hard, and the mortgage business collapsed beneath him just like it did for millions of other Americans. Once again, Jarrod faced professional devastation, but this time he had Brandy by his side and a determination not to fall back into old patterns. It was Jarrod's aunt, an employee at a storage facility, who suggested that he try the storage auction business. Storage wars wouldn't exist for several more years, so at this point, bidding on abandoned storage units was an obscure hustle that most people knew nothing about. Jarrod saw opportunity where others saw junk, and he convinced Brandy to take the leap with him into this uncertain venture. But would this gamble on storage units lead them to prosperity, or another devastating failure, becoming the young guns of storage wars? Jarrod and Brandy threw themselves into the storage auction business with the kind of energy that comes from having nothing left to lose. They opened a thrift store in Orange County called Now and Then Second-Hand Store, where they could sell the treasures they found in storage units they won at auction. The business model was simple but required hustle. Attend storage auctions, bid on promising units, sort through the contents, and sell anything of value. Jarrod Schulz's luck changed dramatically when he met the producers of Storage Wars at an auction in Harbor City. They approached him about shooting footage at his store, and he agreed to it as a free publicity stunt. However, it was Brandy who truly impressed them with her charisma and charm.
You want a bullet?
Oh my God. Are you gonna bowl right now?
Yeah, right. Told you, so watch your feet.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, are you okay?
The producers invited the couple to join the show's cast as main characters, seeing in them qualities that would resonate with audiences. Jarrod and Brandy, who were nicknamed the Young Guns on the show, gained fame and popularity for their witty banter, competitive spirit, and savvy bidding skills. At 33 years old when the show began, Jarrod was significantly younger than established buyers like Dave Hester and Daryl Sheets, bringing youthful energy and modern business sensibilities to an industry dominated by older, more experienced auction hunters. The show made them wealthy beyond their dreams. While exact salaries were never disclosed, reality television stars on successful shows can earn tens of thousands of dollars per episode. Over 13 seasons, this added up to substantial income. Celebrity Net Worth estimates Jarrod Schulz's net worth at approximately $2 million, accumulated through his television work, storage business, and other entrepreneurial ventures. The couple's success led to their own spin-off series in 2014 called Brandy and Jarrod, Married to the Job, which ran for 8 episodes. The show gave viewers a deeper look at their relationship, their business operations, and their family life with their 2 children, Cameron and Peyton. The title referred to their intense focus on their thrift store business and storage auction work, which consumed most of their time and energy. However, the title was somewhat misleading. Jarrod and Brandy were never actually married, despite presenting themselves as a married couple on television. They referred to each other as husband and wife, and viewers assumed they had legally wed, but they were actually long-term partners who chose not to formalize their relationship through marriage. This fact would become significant later when their relationship fell apart. Behind the scenes of their television success, Jarrod also pursued other business ventures. He founded Outlaw Apparel in 2002, a clothing company that capitalized on the rebellious, edgy image he cultivated. The brand allowed him to diversify his income beyond storage auctions and television work, demonstrating business acumen that went beyond simply finding treasures in abandoned lockers. For years, Jarrod and Brandy appeared to have it all. But appearances can be deceiving, and the cracks in their relationship were already forming long before viewers would learn the truth. What was really happening behind closed doors that would eventually destroy their partnership and Jarrod's television career? When the partnership fell apart. Storage Wars went on hiatus after Season 12 concluded in November 2018, leaving fans wondering when the show would return. What viewers didn't know was that during this break, Jarrod and Brandy's relationship was disintegrating. The couple split up in November 2018, though they kept this information private for nearly 2 years. In a June 2020 interview on the Dad Diary Facebook Live, Brandy Passante finally confirmed what had been hidden from fans. She revealed that she and Jarrod had actually split up about 2 years earlier, meaning the breakup occurred in 2018. In that interview, Passante claimed that she was basically now a single mother, handling the parenting duties for their 2 children largely on her own. In February 2021, Brandy addressed her split from Jarrod again in an interview on the Spirit Talk YouTube show, where she revealed deeper issues that had plagued their relationship. Brandy said that she wasn't really allowed to have an identity for many years. And so these last couple of years, she is kind of coming into her own and figuring out who she is. The statement suggested that Brandy felt controlled or overshadowed during her relationship with Jarrod. unable to fully express herself or develop her own identity separate from their partnership. When Storage Wars finally returned for Season 13 in April 2021, after the 2-year hiatus, viewers immediately noticed something different about Jarrod and Brandi. During the season premiere episode, Brandi confirmed on camera for the first time that she and Jarrod had split. The season documented the awkward reality of two exes who had to continue working together on the same show, attending the same storage auctions, and interacting with the same community of buyers. The dynamic that had once been playful and affectionate had turned cold and distant. They mostly ignored each other on camera, though occasional interactions revealed lingering tension. During one Season 13 episode, Brandi called Jarrod an idiot for spending $400 on a particular storage unit, demonstrating that her criticism of his decisions continued even after their split. In another instance, Jarrod deliberately outbid her on a unit she wanted, showing that the competitive aspect of their relationship had turned petty and vindictive. Behind the scenes, both Jarrod and Brandi had moved on to new relationships. By February 2019, Jarrod had confirmed his relationship with Rochelle Beckman, a bartender who worked at the Rush Bar and Grill in Lake Forest, California. The two shared photos together on social media, with Rochelle posting in December 2019. It's crazy how much happier life can be when you are appreciated and cared for the way a person should be. The message suggested that Jarrod's relationship with Rochelle was healthier and more supportive than his partnership with Brandi had been. Brandi also moved on, though she was more private about her new relationship. She eventually began dating realtor Clifford Beaver, sharing occasional photos of them together on social media, though she kept most details of the relationship private. On social media, Brandi dropped hints about the troubled nature of her relationship with Jarrod. She shared a promotional poster of Storage Wars featuring her ex and placed a demon emoji over his face, a not-so-subtle indication that she harbored negative feelings about Jarrod. The gesture suggested the split had not been amicable and that Brandi viewed Jarrod in a decidedly negative light. Despite their split and obvious tension, both continued appearing on Storage Wars Season 13, maintaining professionalism for the cameras even if their personal relationship was destroyed. But the fragile peace between them wouldn't last long, and what happened next would shock fans and potentially end Jarrod's television career forever. What could have happened that transformed their contentious but civil split into criminal charges? When things turned violent. On the evening of April 30th, 2021, Brandi Passante was hanging out with friends at a bar in Lake Forest, Orange County, enjoying a night out away from the tensions of filming and co-parenting with her ex. The location was significant. Lake Forest was where Jarrod owned and operated the Rush Bar and Grill, meaning this confrontation happened in territory Jarrod considered his own. According to law enforcement sources, Jarrod Schulz showed up at the bar where Brandi was spending time with friends. Whether his appearance was coincidental or deliberate remains unclear, but what happened next was indisputable. The exes got into a heated exchange, with voices raised and tensions escalating rapidly. Friends who were present later reported that the argument grew increasingly hostile. When the confrontation reached a fever pitch, Brandi told Jarrod to leave. This reasonable request, asking someone to leave a bar when they're causing a scene, should have ended the situation. He did not comply. According to TMZ sources and later court documents, rather than leaving as requested, things took a turn for the worse. Law enforcement sources reported that at some point during the argument, Jarrod allegedly pushed Brandi twice while yelling at her and her group of friends. The physical contact transformed what had been a verbal argument into an assault. Witnesses to the incident corroborated Brandi's account, providing statements to police about what they had observed. Someone at the bar called the police to report the escalating situation. However, by the time Orange County Sheriff's deputies arrived at the scene, Jarrod had already left. His departure before police arrived meant that no immediate arrest was made at the scene, though officers took a detailed report from Brandy and the witnesses present. A few days after the incident, police tracked down Jarrod and questioned him about what had occurred. He denied claims that he touched Brandy, contradicting her account and the statements of witnesses. His denial created a he said, she said situation, though the presence of multiple witnesses who supported Brandy's version of events gave investigators confidence in proceeding with charges. On May 16, 2021, the Orange County District Attorney's Office charged Jarrod Schulz with 1 count of misdemeanor domestic violence battery. A&E and the producers of Storage Wars also immediately launched an investigation to determine Jarrod's future on the show. TMZ reported that Jarrod's role on Storage Wars was in limbo as the network conducted their probe. Representatives for the show declined to comment on the investigation, maintaining silence about what decision they would ultimately make regarding Jarrod's participation in future seasons. The April 2021 incident represented a catastrophic turning point in Jarrod's life. The violence allegations threatened everything he had built: his television career, his business reputation, his relationship with his children, and his public image. For someone who had already rebuilt his life once after prison, facing another public downfall must have been devastating. But would the charges stick? And what would the consequences be for Jarrod's future? The career collapse and public disgrace. Following the domestic violence charge, Jarrod Schulz essentially disappeared from Storage Wars. While Brandy continued appearing on the show through seasons 14, 15, and 16, Jarrod never returned as a full-time cast member. The investigation by A&E apparently concluded that his presence on the show was no longer viable, though the network never officially announced his firing or explained their decision publicly. The contrast between Jarrod and Brandy's post-incident trajectories was stark. Brandy thrived, appearing happy and confident in later seasons of Storage Wars. She posted frequently on social media, sharing updates about her life, her children, and her continued work in the storage auction business. She returned to Storage Wars in 2023 for Season 15 and stayed with the show for Season 16, which aired in 2025. The newer season brought a 1-hour format that gave more time for bidding, cast interactions, and behind-the-scenes moments. In promotional interviews for the later seasons, Brandy spoke confidently about her auction strategy and her place in the Storage Wars cast. "You have to use a little misdirection with these fellas sometimes," she said, demonstrating that she had found her voice as an independent businesswoman, rather than half of a couple. On October 3, 2021, Brandy unveiled a new tattoo that spoke volumes about her emotional state. The tattoo read, "Free," with a sparrow-like bird flying away from the second E on her middle finger, a prominent placement that ensured she would see it constantly. Her caption explained the deeply personal meaning. "To me, this tattoo means that somehow, by the grace of God, I managed to escape a very difficult situation that so many people fall victim to. I will be eternally grateful for the life and freedom without fear that I get to live now. I am also grateful for the empathy and grace I can offer others as a result of what I have endured." The statement suggested that Brandy viewed her relationship with Jarrod as something she had escaped from rather than one she had simply ended. The reference to living without fear implied that fear had been a part of their relationship, though she didn't provide specific details beyond the April 2021 incident. Meanwhile, Jarrod retreated almost entirely from public life. His last Instagram post was in 2021, and he has maintained radio silence on social media since then. Unlike Brandy, who embraced social media to connect with fans and promote her ongoing work, Jarrod went dark, offering no explanations or apologies for what had happened. However, Jarrod didn't completely disappear from entrepreneurial pursuits. In April 2019, even before his split with Brandy became public, Jarrod had purchased the Rush Bar and Grill in Lake Forest, California. According to the bar's website, a family had owned and operated the establishment for 4 years before deciding to take their journey elsewhere. At that time, Jarrod Schulz, described as a family man and self-made entrepreneur, pursued ownership with the goal of running a great-time neighborhood bar. The bar remains open as of 2025, apparently providing Jarrod with income and a new career focus separate from storage auctions and reality television. The establishment offers televised sports, live music, and typical bar fare, marketing itself primarily through Facebook rather than Instagram. While Jarrod occasionally shared promotional material for the bar in 2021, his social media silence means it's unclear how actively involved he remains in the day-to-day operations. Jarrod's relationship with Rochelle Beckman also continued, at least for a while. His Facebook profile photo remained a picture of him and Rochelle as of late 2024, suggesting they were still together. However, because Jarrod hasn't posted since 2021 and Rochelle's Instagram remains private, the current status of their relationship is unknown. The fact that he hasn't updated his social media makes it impossible to determine whether they're still together or have since split. What is certain is that Jarrod's career as a television personality effectively ended with the April 2021 incident and subsequent charges. The man who had spent over a decade building a brand as one half of Storage Wars' Young Guns saw that brand destroyed in a single night of poor decisions and alleged violence. Do you think reality television stars deserve second chances after domestic violence allegations? Or are some actions unforgivable? Should Storage Wars have kept Jarrod on the show? Or did A&E make the right decision in apparently letting him go? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more. Also, click the next video showing on your screen. You will enjoy it.